Well, hello. Welcome to our It Just Fits podcast, probably episode 10. And this is the December edition. I am National Sales Director Katrina Harris Earl. I'm super excited to have you on our show today. And some of you are just watching and are going to find out today that you're entered into a drawing. And some of you are watching because you're like, I am winning tonight. We are giving away $500 cash. I am coming to you live from Chicago. I live in Chicago and Brentwood, but today I'm coming to you live from the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, even though it's cold outside. What's the temperature where you are? I want to welcome Jody and Sarah Lee and Facebook user 1 and 2 and Dwayna and Deborah and Delisa, and I see many more. Please type in the chat, tag your beauty consultant, hang out with us. You're going to love my girlfriend's story today. It's really going to bless and minister to you. And then we're going to give away some cash and maybe even a fun product giveaway. So I'm super excited to introduce you to someone that I love so much. She is coming to you from the sweet, sweet place of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Okay, so we got East Coast and Midwest in the house. Dorothy, would you please bring in Laura McKeever? Laura, come on in, girl. How are you?
Hello, my friend.
Welcome to our pink table and to our It Just Fits. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I got to blow you guys some Hershey kisses. I live right outside of Hershey.
Oh my goodness. She was just telling me. I mean, I had no idea that I have to visit Hershey, Pennsylvania, not just for the chocolate, but for the spa. I'm like, I love a good spa. Okay. We were in Jamaica last week at the spa, Ritz-Carlton at the spa. Now I'm going to check out the Hershey spa. Where else, of all the places we've traveled, Laura, where are some of your favorite spa? One of them, just one of them that we all know.
Oh my gosh. I usually choose the spa in every place. It's like my thing. The most recent experience was in Maui. In Hawaii. The spa there, the Four Seasons, is just exquisite.
But did you have the one on the beach? Did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I know I need to do that the next time.
You have to do that one. I was on, you see, one of the things you'll hear about is we get to travel together. So we're going to be, I hope to see you before then, but I definitely will see you in May when we cruise together. Right. And that will be a Mediterranean cruise. But I'm telling you, anyone who visits the Four Seasons, you have to have the massage outside literally on the Pacific Ocean. It's in this cabana. And I just think that's been my favorite one ever. Okay. And I'm so glad that it was paid for and I didn't have to in my pocket. Well, we're going to talk to you tonight, to everyone that's visiting, our guests. And we just thank you so much. This gives you an opportunity to hear from a successful entrepreneur, a successful mom, happily married, just loves life. And we'll share a little bit about your story and your journey to becoming an entrepreneur. So would you tell us a little bit about you and your family, Laura?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I actually, I'm one of 9 children. I have 7 sisters and a brother. Wow. He's the very middle, 4 older and 4 younger sisters. And so, but I have, I have 2 grown boys. Kenny will be 25 this Thursday. Yes.
He looks so good. Mary Kay does a body good.
And he is serving in the Air Force. He's down in Tampa. So if there's anyone from Tampa, hey, I'm learning the Tampa area. I love it. And then my other son is 23. He graduated from college and he is working for the Attorney General's office in information systems. Wow. So, and then I have my husband, my honey, for 27 years, more like 28 or 9 for dating, and he's a school teacher. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We are here celebrating our 10th anniversary. So one of the
Oh,
things, 12, 12, 12 at 12, 12. How many people remember this story?
oh,
And
wow,
so
yeah.
one of the things is I love how many girlfriends I have that have amazing, amazing husbands and longevity in their marriage. You know, one of my favorite times of hanging out with you and your husband was when we were on what's the name of the train we were on? The Orient Express.
Oh, yes. Oh, I just found those pictures.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could find him. We were going from London to Bath. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was.
Bath. Another great place to visit in England, Bath,
Mhm.
Bath, England.
It
So
was
that
called the
was
Northern Belle. Look it up, the Northern
okay.
Belle.
The
Yeah,
Northern Belle, and
for anyone that's watching.
yeah, it was an experience, just
It
totally.
was.
Well, tell us about what attracted you to entrepreneurship, and what was your profession before you became
Okay.
an entrepreneur?
Well, I was actually a college student, but I was also working full time as an office manager in a counseling service, and I was part-time waitressing, doing all of those things.
Mhm.
And so I really wasn't looking for a business opportunity. It pretty much fell in my lap. My two older sisters were in the Mary Kay business, which is what my business is now, and that's how we know each other. And my one sister just called me out of the blue and said, "What are you doing tonight?" And I'm like, "Why?" I had been in a business before Mary Kay that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And she said, "Well, my director's coming from out of town to teach me how to do a skincare class, and I need a third person." I'm like, "And you waited to the last minute, right?" And she's like, "Just be here at 7." I said, "Okay." And really, I fell in love with what it represented, what some of the things that her director shared. But it wasn't until they said that you get everything at 50% off. And it was this
Wow.
time I signed up November 30th of 1993. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll get all my Christmas gifts at a discount. And I pretty much fell into it. I really did. But when I was younger, I was the one that would try to sell the most Girl Scout cookies. And, I was an athlete. I always, like in swimming, had to earn the I did it buttons. And
Uh-huh,
you got
uh-huh.
that by beating your
Overachiever.
best record. So I think God was preparing me, grooming me through life for such a time as when I was 21
Yeah,
and
wow.
yeah.
How now, let's see, how long children no children when you started?
No, I was
No,
single. I was
single,
single.
okay.
I was actually engaged to be married to someone else, a very
Uh-huh.
unhealthy relationship. And thank the Lord, I cut it off 6 months before. And
Uh-huh.
really, actually, being in a business, that is a women empowerment company really empowered me. I also saw healthy
Mhm,
relationships,
mhm,
that I looked at and was like, "That's not my relationship now."
uh-huh.
And it helped me see that I deserved more, and better. And so thank God for my opportunity.
This is my story. I mean, honestly, why I was 45 and single, because I was like, mm-mm, nope. I had
Right,
all these girlfriends with just these amazing, amazing husbands. I'm like, mm-mm, nope.
right.
And you start wondering if the one is there for you. And here enters Anthony, who I met because his cousin was in Mary Kay. So great relationships. So what do you think? You have so many strengths. What would you say are your key strengths that have caused you to be so successful? Um, in life and business?
I think my number one strength, well, there I think there's 2 from what people tell me. The one that most people tell me is I'm a lover.
Mm,
That
that
also
is really
was something that was a weakness too, because I loved so much that I got my heart hurt,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
But for me, it was I just love to love people.
mm,
And so it just so happened that, I realized that in my business in Mary Kay, that if you just love enough people, it comes back to you.
mm,
But I think because of what I've been through in life and just coming from a large family, you name it, just about everything in life we've had to deal with.
mhm, mhm,
I think the emotional management, uh,
mm.
And that's, I think, a key thing in business and being successful. That is one of the hardest things I believe to do. But I've learned how to take the obstacles and use them as stepping stones, and that I looked at it that it was God's way. My prayer partner at one point said, that's God's way of molding you and
Mhm.
shaping you into the position that He's calling you to have in the microphone. And so, yeah, that's emotional management. I think more than anything.
Wow. Our theme this year for our national area is the shift to be in
Mhm.
alignment for the assignment. And that just emotional management is so important. You'll get a kick out of this that while I was in California, even though we live in Chicago, between California and Chicago, we are in and out. But it just so happened that I was here and the time intersected when one of our sister nationals, our company is in over 40 countries. And so literally you can kind of spin the globe and there are Mary Kay women. And even though the language could be so different, I know you'll agree the conversation for women
Mhm.
is the same. We want, a great life for our family, our kids to be empowered and so forth. And so I got to spend the day today with Amy Chang she may even be watching. She is from Shenzhen, China. Dorothy's going to pop a picture up of her. She is a national sales director. Our national sales director sister. I just happened to have, I went to
Mhm.
a church event and we had to wear black and silver. So I just happened to have one of our classic national suits and she had their current one and they're
Mhm.
going to get ours. But I tell you, Laura, it was just unbelievable just to be reminded again, even though the language her daughter was here translating, and she's been here for 6 months. Her daughter is very successful in what she does here. Went to Boston College and here in Chicago. But I'm telling you, the love between us and I mean, it kind of turned into a prayer situation in the Ritz
Wow.
Carlton. My husband came in and we had an opportunity to pray together and just come together. And the culture of our company is so rich. And of course, she was just so excited to hear some authentic Mary Kay stories because we've gotten to be
Oh.
able to be with her. Well, you have experienced a unique trauma in your life, and you shared this publicly. So many people have not experienced it, but unfortunately, there are so many adults and children that have experienced what you experienced and never tell about it. Or I was watching something yesterday. Actually, it was one of the Gucci heiresses, who talked about
Mhm.
her experience and said that the average person doesn't talk about this experience until they're in their 50s.
Mhm.
And so, can you just talk a little bit about that? And your family has been featured,
Mhm.
and I want to talk about the strength and how your Mary Kay training helped to walk you through that situation
Mhm.
in your latter years.
I sure will. And hi, Amy from China. I wanted to say that I love that at my NSD training. When we all go to the Scholar Week,
Yes.
met a national sales director, Dawn,
Mm,
from China, and
mhm.
that was a highlight of my career.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for asking me about that, Katrina. It is, we never know why God puts us in certain situations, or but it's hindsight's always 2020. And as I was sharing with you about when I started my Mary Kay business, during the same time, there was a lot of turmoil in my life, in my family's life. As I shared, I'm one of 9 children, and at that time, and this is, gosh, I don't mind saying my age. I'm 50. I just turned 50 this past May,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was 21 at the time. But a year before that, when I was 20, our world came crashing down, because my youngest sister, who was 12 at the time, came forward, and we found out that, and she didn't come forward. There was a Polaroid picture found, um, that our abuser had taken of her. And it was revealed that she had been sexually abused by our clergyman, our priest. We were raised in a Catholic home. And so it turned our world upside down. It really did. My parents, they were numb for 2 years. But, God brought Mary Kay into my life in the middle of that. And so that was a 2-year situation, and it was just really focused on my sister Carolyn, the youngest. Her abuse was from age roughly about 2, we found out, to 12. And he was a gentleman that I first met. He came into my 5th grade class looking for volunteers. And if you want to know more of this story, you can Google Fortney Sisters, Fortney. We also, have a little website out there just because people wanted to know our story more. But as it is, back then, that many years ago, you didn't hear words like you hear today. You didn't know what a pedophile was. You didn't hear the words molestation. And it was taboo to talk about. You didn't even talk about, your time of the month, public, or see commercials like we do today. So, during that time, it was dealt with in the wrong way, and it was swept under the rug. And so fast forward, and let's just go back to 2016. So fast forward several decades later, but let's go back to 2016. Our family, we get subpoenaed to be a part of a grand jury investigation in Pennsylvania. And you may have seen on all of the front pages at that time, a family that it said 5 sisters all abused by the same priest. It was a bombshell report. It was a big grand jury investigation. And then it finally came out in a huge press conference. Well, that was my family. And I was one of the 5 sisters that had been abused. And so I didn't start even remembering my abuse until many years later. I mean, I knew things, but we never talked about it among ourselves. There was a lot of shame and guilt, and just the way it was handled with my family back then. We were made to feel shamed about it and guilty, like it was our fault and our problem. And, and so it really just blew up again. And this is about 4 or 5 years after I become a national sales director, which is the highest position in Mary Kay. And now here I am learning, I realized, one thing you asked earlier, for me, or you said is, how can this empower you? Or maybe it was through us talking before this. Mary Kay, I realized that God used my business to help put me back together and helped strengthen me, all the skills. Like, I mean, even just the interviews that I had to do on television, national television, preparing me from being somebody in her early 20s that quit college because of the turmoil, but also because I was so afraid of speech class. I stuttered when I talked. I had low self-esteem when I started because of the unhealthy relationship and my abuse, and God used Mary Kay to be a safe place to place me to grow spiritually, because you have to understand, when you're abused by the man that is next to God, right? Like, I didn't just have the layer of abuse, I also had the faith layer on top of it, and the trust issues with people in authority over me, which I had realized through years. Not just it affected me personally, but it also affected relationships. It started to affect just me even going into a church and feeling comfortable, right? But because I had so many just areas in my business that I was able to grow spiritually, women like you, Katrina, and your husband, and all of the people in Mary Kay that just are of strong faith that I've been able to be around. And then relationally with my husband, as I shared earlier, financially, because I had to, now my family, we were thrown into the spotlight, but we gratefully accepted the calling, because we should have done it years ago, right? Before we were silenced. Because, 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls have been sexually abused. And you're right, the average age is 52 till somebody remembers their abuse, because the brain has this way that when you suffer trauma as a child, it has a way of protecting itself, but it manifests through life in ways that you don't realize why I am that way or why those things, are happening until it just hits you or you're made to really even address it and think about it. And that was me. And so, but here I am. I got so many tools in my tool belt along the way in my business that now I'm able to pull from, and I've learned how to compartmentalize, right? I've learned how to, you know, overcome and push through obstacles. The trauma will always be there, but I have learned how to push through it rather than to stay in it. And so what I'm passionate about now today is to help fight laws that for statute of limitations, because the reality is the laws benefit the perpetrator, not the victim, because they're so antiquated that back when my sister, when that happened, it was 2 years civilly and 5 years criminally. Well, what 2-year-old or what 12-year-old even knows what abuse is, right?
Wow, that was the statute of limitations.
Yes. And a lot of the states are still very weak. I mean, it should be abolished totally. But we have a lot of politics involved in it. We have there's a lot to it that my family has really learned. And I would tell you, one of the things that really also helped me is Mary Kay has a government relations department. And, several times they've asked me, this is before even knowing my situation, before I even knew my situation, because I live only 2.5 hours from Washington, D.C., they asked if I would advocate on Capitol Hill for domestic violence. And I gratefully accepted, and I learned how to lobby for a cause. And I realize now that, wow, God was preparing me for this new stage in my life.
Wow.
And so I'm also passionate about educating families and parents on grooming, because so many people can say, well, didn't your parents know about, not to let you with somebody by yourself as a child? Well, first of all, you have to understand the faith that I grew up in, that we put so much trust into human beings, we're all born of sin, right? We're all flawed. And so, but also, people will say things that they don't understand, like, well, why didn't you ever say anything? Well, I would have if we would have known. There's so much education that needs to be involved, that needs to happen for people, because so many people think it couldn't happen to them. Well, it happened right at our kitchen table, where my sister was just sitting on his lap right in front of my parents, and abuse happened right there. Pedophiles are clever, they're calculated, and they're very patient. It starts with just a hug, right? Or a gift that they give you. And then it becomes something so much more, and they use power over you, it's cumbersome, but
your story is such a victor story, and I just appreciate your authenticity. And I know everyone in the chat is saying that first of all, this is us working. That so many people just think of the pink tubes, and yes, we do have amazing product, and think of the opportunity and the cars that we earn and so forth. But the reality is, in your national area, in my national area, in Mary Kay, is when you say 1 in 4, that means, and that is sexual abuse, not to mention so many other things that women deal with. We deal with broken women, and Mary Kay Ash really she equipped us and built a culture, wouldn't you agree, that helps to mend
Mm.
a lot of that brokenness? She would say, actually, to Charles Stanley that, on was it Charles Stanley, on Sunday they're with you, and then I got them
Right.
on Monday, or Monday Night Live meeting,
I love
because
that.
it's just a process. And so, can you just talk about maybe some of how you use um, all of this training, and how you have been able to empower and see the growth that takes place with women that you get to coach in business?
Sure. I want to use my story to give people hope,
Hmm.
um, to help them see that you can be a victor, not a victim,
Hmm.
and that my story is his glory. We hear it so cliche sometimes to take the ashes, make beauty out of ashes, right? Uh, but um, when I'm speaking, like you and I do, and we're standing there at a seminar with 8,000 women, especially since 2016, I remember, the first time that I had to speak, when now everybody knew my story. I couldn't hide behind the makeup, right?
Hmm.
Couldn't hide behind the makeup. And so I didn't I was like, I don't wanna share my sad story. Like, I really don't. Mary Kay, we're positive,
Hmm.
I don't wanna share that. And I know there's a right way and a wrong way to do that, but someone hit me upside the head and said, "You know what? Sharing your story though will help unlock the chains for so many others, that it may not be your exact story, but they can see you now the way you are and say, wow, there is hope for me. If she can do it, so can I."
Hmm.
And when I stood at that first career conference, and it was Kathy Halou, who's National Sales Director Emeritus, helped me with that breakthrough, because she has a similar story. And she noticed I was very uneasy about it. And she goes, "No, look out in the audience."
Hmm.
And I was like, wow. And when I looked, I was like, 1 in 4,
Hmm.
1 in 4. And when I was done, it was the first time I ever shared publicly in the Mary Kay arena,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I could do an interview, but this was my safe place. Like,
Yeah.
this was my bubble. Like, and now I had to bring this tragedy into my bubble. And but God said to me, wow, look at that. And then afterwards, when I went down in the pit, all these women started coming up.
Can only imagine.
And even in my position, in our position, Katrina, I had roughly about 10 women that are in the same position as us. And there's only about 200 of us in the United States, 600 in the world, but at least 10 of them spoke out to me for the first time ever, never told anyone, never
Wow.
told anybody. Isn't it
Wow.
crazy? And they were women in their 50s or 60s
Hmm.
that came out too. So, I've adopted the key, my family, the key as our family symbol, because it really, although the grand jury investigation during that time, it was we were like, oh my goodness, we're going to be that family. Like,
Hmm.
that's how
Hmm.
we saw it. Oh, we're going to be that family. And someone said, no, you're that family.
Yeah.
That family. So you can see things different ways. And God made me see it um, in a light of empowerment,
Mhm.
to use those obstacles as hope for other people, to say, look at me. Look,
Absolutely.
look what the enemy tried to destroy but couldn't, because you allowed God to put you back up on his easel and keep chipping away to get to that masterpiece that he originally created. And so,
You were an example of beauty for ashes. I mean, your story is as you've said, unfortunately, and I know those statistics are probably, I don't know if they're U.S. statistics, and we know globally it may even be a greater number. And we know, this is one of the things that social media gives us an opportunity to have this audience, and I know that there's probably about 100 women that are watching, but so many more that will see this. Put hashtag replay if you're watching and hearing Laura's story. And so we are going to circle back to the Mary Kay piece, but I just want to say that I know you've done a lot of work. I know you've sought a lot of help. I know that the financial piece has helped to give you choices and options, and you continue to do that and are able to use wisdom as you were raising your own children. And so we just want to encourage those women that, as we would in our national area, right? This is a great place to grow. And at the same time, we encourage women and men that have that experience to seek professional help, right? That is just so important. And you can use this business and this opportunity as your happy place. I mean, for a $30 investment or for a $130 investment, what you get is a family. You get a family, you get a culture, you get so much. Some people are here for a season, right? Some people come in and just make a little bit of extra cash for holiday. Some are here for a reason, and some, like us, are here for a lifetime, like Pink Rocking Chair. Okay. You'll have to kick us out.
Yeah.
But it all starts with this product. What we do is we share this opportunity with women, and we've been sharing. Are you still doing most of your business virtually since the pandemic, or are you doing quite a bit hybrid or all in person?
I'm doing a lot virtually right now, but a lot of my consultants are starting to venture more in person, and I'm wanting to do more in
Yes.
person because I love that. Yeah. So it's really cool because it's hybrid. We now have choices with that too.
We love that.
Yeah.
And so this is what we do. You earn 50% of everything you sell. The product is amazing. And we have this great reorder business. And now you can drop ship the product, and it shows up in a Hello Gorgeous box on her porch. And you can hold those appointments yourself. Or I know that in our national area, every Thursday and Saturday, we hold appointments. And Tuesday in our the same outlets where you're watching this, there's something that happens every Tuesday at the same time. And I know that you do. So you probably have, like my national area, some people just send their people, right? Just show up. Like you could be at work, at church, at whatever, and you could just have people show up with samples or without samples. And this is what we do. But Mary Kay used the product as a vehicle. It was a vehicle, and we do have superb, top-notch, unbelievable. We're both in our 50s, looking fabulous and fine. We have a fabulous product, but what really we sell in this business is hope. So I'm so grateful. I can't tell you my gratitude, and I speak for the many for you being willing to share your story. And I know many are going to be Googling to see the greater and longer piece. And I just will say that you haven't even seen how God is going to use you at the next level, and how he's going to elevate you to be able to share your story even more. So in terms of the product, since we talked about the product as the vehicle, what are one or two of your absolute favorite products, Laura? Because we're going to have a special here based on what Laura loves to put on her face every morning and night.
Okay, well, I love one of my greatest loves, other than our repair skincare.
Yeah, I know.
Which says, hey, yeah, 50.
That's what I used to. I had a girlfriend who was not 50, was still on Time-Wise, and I love our Time-Wise. But my girlfriend, me and you, we both got 5.5. You need repair, okay?
Right. I know. I always say repair is the 3D collection on steroids. It's crazy. But I love, and I think my best-selling product, probably other than the skincare products, are oil-free eye makeup remover. But it's a close of that, and now the micellar water. But oil-free eye makeup remover, I'm telling you, it is. I always tell people, if you can find a better one out there, I'll give you $100. No, because you can't. Like, I'm that confident about it. It's incredible. So,
it's incredible, totally incredible. And I know you said you love our boosters, those boosters as well. Do you use those with your repair set?
Yeah, they're my favorite. Because they're the newest, but I will tell you, those two boosters Man, they are my best friends. And yes, I use it with the repair. I
Mm-hmm.
do. I look, when they told me the average Asian woman uses 35 skincare products, I'm like, I have never seen an Asian woman that looks old. Like, I mean, there's something. And if I have to layer, I'm going to layer. But no, these products I thought my repair was amazing without them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then when I started using them, it was a whole new level. And like people ask me if I've had Botox, and I'm not against any of that kind of thing, but they've asked me like, are you doing something different? Like, what is it? I'm like, nope, I've got these boosters, the C and the HA. They're my
Yep.
friends. They're my
Yep.
best
One
friends.
has the vitamin C resveratrol. It's all
Yes.
about line reducing.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah.
type in the chat if like, line
Totally.
reducing, because
Yeah.
it's not like one time.
Yep.
Just when you reduce one, some more
Yep.
start coming up. So you got to keep on working on that.
Right.
And then the other one is all about hydration, which you cannot get enough. I mean,
No.
OMG. We were walking on Rush Street in Chicago. Those of you who are familiar, my husband, I said, why are we walking here? He said, because on the more narrow streets, it's not as windy. Then we
Yes.
turned the corner and we went to Michigan Avenue. And I mean, it was like, the Chicago hawk like hit me. And I could just feel new lines and more hydration. So I'm going to be boosting. Yep. So right before we give our cash away, which we're about to do, thank you so much to all of our guests that have hung out. The special today, can you believe this? Laura doesn't even know, but if you purchase one of our boosters, you are going to get the oil-free eye makeup remover that she loves half price. And if you purchase both boosters, you're going to get the oil-free eye makeup remover for free. So talk to your beauty consultant. You have 24 hours to do that. But the real deal is choosing to become a beauty consultant. So you can make that decision. And the best time in December, like I said, you can spend $130 and get a full-on starter kit, which has samples and brochures and $400 worth of product in, or you can spend $30 and get a secure way to accept credit cards and a website, and you're in business with someone like Laura or myself and having some fun and making some money. Two of you, everyone I know loves Laura, and I hope you love me too, but two are going to really be happy because who doesn't want some cash at Christmas? So guess what, girl? We're about to give away some cash. Okay.
That's awesome.
The way that this works is we're going to spin the wheel, and the beauty consultant that wins gets $250, and the guest whose name comes up gets $250, and the beauty consultant or sales director who is her consultant gets $250. So beauty consultants that are out there, if your guest wins, then you make sure that I have, my office address, that we have her Cash App, and we will Cash App you just in time for Christmas. So we'll spin the wheel in just a moment, and then Dorothy's going to look at the Excel spreadsheet that tells us who she belongs to. And if you're in the chat, scream in the chat, okay? Like type really fast. So Dorothy, let's give away some cash. Now, let me just say this. Sometimes people look at that and they think there's tons of entries, and there are a lot of entries, but a lot of the entries are the same person. So they get multiple entries, Laura, for everyone who purchased $75 when they become a beauty consultant, when they hold a party, when they do that. So we have women that have 10 entries, that have 15 entries. Some have one entry. Everyone who's on today gets one entry in our January drawing. So there's a lot of names in here, but a lot of names are in there multiple times. So let's spin the wheel. Here we go. And this really is random. I'm always as excited to see who I'm going to give cash to. And the winner is Chandler Miller. That is awesome. So let's give Dorothy, we're going to give Chandler some love, and we're going to give Dorothy just a couple of moments to pull up. She'll pop right in here and tell us who Chandler's beauty consultant is. Dorothy, we're waiting. My former assistant's name was Laura, so I think I called her Laura.
It's okay. Chandler's consultant is Maudie Perez, and she is Vicky's consultant.
Yay! So she's in Vicky Gatke's unit, and I am excited. Vicky, congratulations. Vicky is in the chat. Vicky Gatke is one. She is destined to be the queen of sales. Mary Kay, like the queen. She's on her way, just back from Hawaii, celebrating her birthday. And so congratulations to your unit. Beauty consultants, keep going, keep going. Remember, you had names in today, but everyone who was on today gets in the next drawing. So we hope we'll see you back again. Laura, what are your plans for Christmas before we go? What's your most exciting thing that you look forward to at this time?
You know what? We're actually having a low-key Christmas this year. We really are. We're gearing up for a big ski trip in February. So early February, but we're just looking forward to just hanging out.
When I tell you that's the best, my husband has been traveling the world and he's headed to Alaska on Saturday.
Oh my.
And so he's like, what do you want to do for Christmas? I'm like, I want you to sit your honey in this chair and watch movies. Okay. I got 2 Netflix we want to binge.
There you go. And that's it. We've been traveling so much. We're just and weddings and we're just ready to just chill out. But you know what? I want to say something. Can I just say something again? Because like you said something earlier about people saying yes to Mary Kay or signing up. Don't make it I just felt led to say this. If there's someone out there that is thinking about doing this, I mean, don't make it an organ donating decision. You know, what if this could change your life like it has mine? I mean, literally it has saved my life. It really has. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen. It could be a plan B for you. You know, you just never know. And for $30 or even $130, I mean, gosh, if you see what's in that kit, you'd be like, okay. So I just want to say that.
I mean, I never thought when I was 24 that I would be here coming from a nonprofit background. I mean, it just was, it's made all the difference. And my husband always says, why do you say it that way? But literally he came out of my starter kit. I mean, I met his cousin and Mary Kay on the same day. And 20 years later, and I'm an only child. I was not blessed to be able to give birth to kids. And my goal was to have a large family. And now I have, 5 grown kids and 15 grandkids. So literally all those kids came out of that start kit.
There you go. That's awesome.
So whether you're here just for a little bit, you talked about being afraid of public speaking. I mean, how many women have we trained to be, just more confident, just, boss babes. And it's really cool. And if nothing else, you get your own product for 50%.
That's
so
right. That was my
okay.
That's why I became a consultant.
Be a brand ambassador. So, well, girlfriend, I just I appreciate you so much. You have the sweetest spirit, and I will tell you that you are the real deal, you guys. Who you see and who you heard from her, that's really who she is. So I know even folks in Mary Kay are like, I just can't wait to promote. And I just want to say there are many women out there that are waiting and working to qualify to be with us in Nashville, Tennessee. And so this is an example of why you want to be at Leadership, because you get this kind of training, these kind of stories, this kind of inspiration. And I know many people are thinking they're grateful for themselves, and they're also thinking about people. They're like, I got to get them to watch this. So thanks for hanging out, and I appreciate you all for being there. And thanks, Laura, for your time. You're looking very Christmassy, and here I am.
I did it for you.
I were home, but I'm putting on the Ritz. So here we are at the Ritz hanging out. And this is the other reason we love Mary Kay, because you can just pop up a light in your hotel room and Mary Kay wherever. So we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.